sir. You're about to see something really special.
Really thought this part of my life was behind me. Frenzy disappeared with the drinking 3 years ago. Why now? This makes no sense, and I'm right on the verge of freaking out.
Back from your life.
These people can be animals.
What you burn.
Thingy's out.
Some bitter things you should never
Good cheese.
learn. Wallow through the days.
Remember, cosplay's not consent.
So here's to me. Congratulations, me. Yay, me.
This would all be so much easier if I was hammered. Hammered.
Won't be there anymore. You can take away the anger, but you leave behind the pain. It's your soul I will
New ventures are always scary.
till I'm melting
Blah, blah, blah. Something positive and uplifting.
tomorrow. But the hurt will still remain. In your soul I'll live forever till I'm melting in.
Don't miss our new film, The Love Song of William H. Shaw, coming soon to a streaming service near you. Hey everyone, this is Cliff from Talking Pondo. Just wanted to give you a quick heads up about spoilers on the show. We do talk about the films in a certain amount of detail, so you may want to watch the film first and then come back if you're not a fan of spoilers. Also, every now and then there's a little bit of adult language, so we wanted to give you fair warning on that. We hope you enjoy the episode, and we really appreciate you listening. Welcome to Season 2 of Making Pondo and Talking Pondo. Talking Pondo is a podcast where Cliff and Marty give each other a film to watch and talk about them in detail. Some episodes will include a special guest. Making Pondo is a podcast where Cliff and Marty talk to people they have worked with and discuss their experiences on set. All right, Marty, we're back.
Back once again. It's Talking Pondo.
Talking Pondo. We're not making Pondo. We're not talking Pondo with guests, which is coming soon. But we're talking Pondo.
Yeah, we're talking Pondo. And here we are wrapping up the spooky season this year with Season 2, Episode 4, but also known as Episode 40.
Mm-hmm.
This is Episode 40 of the podcast overall today, so that's cool. Another milestone achieved. But we decided to subject ourselves to another week of horror films. So it's our 5th and 6th movie. So it's fitting you do 6 horror movies for Halloween, right? And
I don't think we're gonna do 6 again though next year.
Yeah.
I think we're maybe gonna it.
unless a bunch of you join our Patreon thing.
Sure, and look, you pay us. We are your review horrors. But at the same time, if we have our choices, maybe we'll just do a couple weeks instead.
Yeah.
Because it does seem like we're coming to the end of a long, like butts in seat, 10 hours type of like.
Right. It's
right,
like
here we go.
we recreated our own all-night movie marathon where they would show 6 or 7 movies in a row, and these are the movies that you're barely staying awake for.
Yeah.
And then they put on Exorcist at 5 a.m. So,
I won the Iron Butt Award at a Star Trek convention in like '97.
wow.
And that was I want to say that was 7 movies, or I think it was when no, it wasn't 2007, it was 2003 or 4, sorry, but it was right after Generations, or maybe the one after First Contact. It was First Contact, so it was First Contact. So I can't remember how many movies that is, but that's like Star Trek 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so it's 8 movies. So you had to sit through all of them, then you only got to pee in between. You got a quick bathroom break type of deal. But
No, if I get enough sleep and this is comfortable enough, but the older I get, the trickier that stuff is. And yet at those all-night horror marathons they have at the local theater here, there'd be people way older than me wide awake the whole time. So maybe I'm the weak one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, same.
What did we watch this week?
So this week we watched The Pope's Exorcist and Hell Night.
Hell Night. See, I give him a Linda Blair movie. He gives me an exorcism movie.
That's right.
And they're not the same movie.
No.
So that's kind of funny. There's no Linda Blair possession here. She gets to go into a different genre. So, which one do you want to talk about first?
Let's do Hell Night.
No, we want to do Hell Night first. Okay.
Yeah,
so
sure. Why not? Why not?
I have a
So,
good description for the second movie, but Hell Night is we have ventured back to that year of 1981 once again. We always seem to end up, and there's a lot of questionable movies from 1981. You know, we were just watching Zorro the Gay Blade and Cliff's favorite movie, Road Games, and that I feel like, oh shit, did I give him Road Games again? Because there's about 40 minutes of this movie where nothing happens, and I'm sitting here going,
shit.
oh, this is the part where you're supposed to be in the back seat making out with you. You know,
no shit.
You're not supposed to be paying attention to the movie, but Hell Night's one of those. It's a little different entry into the early 80s slasher films where the group of frat kids have to spend the night but in the house overnight to get into the frat or something, right? But it's the spooky haunted castle. So are we in a William Castle movie from the 50s? But yet it feels like that's being run through the slasher motif. But I feel like this is more of a misunderstood monster movie in a way, which is kind of why I enjoy its really goofy corniness. So it's not a good movie. It's not a good movie, but I like it because it's stupid. So
I hear you. And,
like Maximum Overdrive.
No, absolutely. And look, and you know, as we've discussed in the past, you know, loving a movie doesn't make it a great movie or a good movie.
Yeah.
It just means that for whatever reason it caught you. And for you like that movie. Liking a movie and it being a good movie, you're two totally. It's like we could have this argument about music forever, right? Like it's just how it works. So Hell Night, 1981. It's basically 4 college fraternity and sorority pledges spend the night in a deserted old mansion as part of a hazing ritual during what they call Hell Night. And they are stalked by the only survivor of a family massacre from the mansion's sordid past.
It's like
but I found a corollary between this and Scream because it happens
yeah.
to be 2 killers. It's 2 killers. It's not 1 killer. It's 2 killers.
And it's all the tropes that you're warned about in Scream that happen in this movie too.
Yeah, true. A few, yes. But
that's what makes it funny for me is it's so trope laden that at the time that was just another
so bad,
impersonator.
Dude.
But it was before like even Friday the 13th Part 2 came out. So you can see how this one started to influence the later Friday and Elm Street sequels, which in a way have less charm than this.
This movie made me weirdly angry. While I was watching it, I'm just like, why? They call her Marty, which is the only part of the whole thing I found humorous.
That is amusing.
My first note in this movie is I'm going to do a lot of sighing as I watch this movie. I can already tell, and I did all through the movie. I'm like, oh God, please come on, in. And I immediately hate Seth and this movie. Like I within 5 minutes, I'm like, I hate that character.
That way you don't mind if they die, right?
I didn't at all. In fact, I rooted for the monsters for most of this movie.
Right. Sympathetic monsters.
Quaaludes. Let's take Quaaludes and get coked up in the creepy castle. Like what the, and I get it. It's a joke. It's not supposed to be scary. It's been cleaned out forever, and the fraternity kind of has control of it. And they scare kids, and that type
how
of
many
shit.
times have they done this, and yet nobody realized somebody was living there?
Well, that's my thing. That's one of my notes. This has been going on for how many fucking years has this been going on before you disturbed the monsters? And if you disturbed them, then how did you disturb them?
You're not supposed to think that part about it.
Yeah, 25 minutes in, you get an explanation about what's going on. 25 minutes into this movie, they're like, oh, well, it's a sorority, and then you blah, 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 and you're going to have to stay here. And you're Jesus Christ. Okay.
Very rippable. Yeah.
Yeah, because at first it's just this wandering through this hotel lobby that they rented to make a fake party.
Oh,
and all the guys in the party going, damn, I'm fucking, misogynistic shitty comment next, misogynistic shitty comment next, and it's the most fake alpha bullshit you've ever seen in your entire life.
Trophy character one.
And it's not even like good Porky's kind of dialogue where it's gross, where it's misogynistic, but at least it's funny and you can laugh at it. You can't even laugh at it, right? And it's not, and I guess misogynistic is the wrong word. It's not I hate women. It's just very shitty against women. I guess sexist is a better term. A lot of sexist comments, sexist, and they're not, again, the forgiving factor of movies that like that is that they're funny, but it's not funny. And then we cut to, here we go up the hill to the mansion. Here we go.
That's why we don't mind they get killed. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they start the spooky story like it's a Scooby-Doo episode. There's even projected ghosts where I'm expecting Velma to have to come out and tell it this is bullshit, This is a very riffable film.
I would agree. I would say Riff Track should probably get a hold of this and tear it a new one.
It's not too gory. It has a few,
it's not
when
gory
they cut
at all.
the head off and the body falls and it looks like it didn't. Is like reverse?
That's
the camera's going backwards. It feels like these saw the person in half magic tricks is what it feels like. Yeah,
could have been. To me, it also looked like you could easily tell that they were just sticking their head through a hole in the wall.
Oh yeah.
And the mannequin body is there to fall.
I appreciate the corniness of that.
It was a terribly done effect. No blood splatter. No attempt to sell it. Straight on. No angle. No nothing. Just here you go, clunk. And that's the first kill in the movie. And as soon as I saw it, I went,
oh no, oh no. But there's not a whole lot of kills in the film. Yeah, it's
it was some of the dialogue. So you live around here? That's actual dialogue in the film. So you live around here.
Don't have to listen to the movie at all. Yeah.
She's a mechanic, Ted. She's an acrobat, Ted, and she's a mechanic, Ted. Oh well, and of course they set that up early because they want to make sure that they give a reason that she can get the car started and get away at the end.
Yeah,
right. Like I read a few.
The car without the keys.
I read a few reviews going, that makes her a blue collar girl, and that makes her this and that. I'm like, no, it's just a really bad device that they're setting up so that she can get away later.
Because she's the virginal final girl. One of the first examples of this.
What a little twat is an actual line in that film, and I started laughing the minute I heard it because I was just like,
1981 for you.
1981, man. Like you just can't, It was the second kill was really kind of lame, and I keep thinking to myself, why the fuck am I watching this? Oh yeah, Marty told me I had to. I started checking the time about 42 minutes in. It had an hour to go.
Yeah, it really starts to drag after they set it up. Yeah.
Yeah, right away I knew it's too fucking long. Why doesn't this idiot just go into the house? He gets killed with a scythe. Why doesn't he just go into the house? He's just standing out there. The acting is not great. I really don't think the acting's very good. This dialogue's not very good.
It's not supposed to be.
Yeah. I made a note about there's only 42 minutes in, and then I have a note that another says there's still 40 minutes left for fuck's sake. And then I have another that says now it's 30.
And so now we're only 7 years past Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and you can still see few influences in this movie, like when they discover downstairs and all the dead bodies are around the table with the
sure.
It's like, see the influence continues. Not nearly as good of a movie, but it's kind of when you run it through the Xerox machine about 20.
I hear you. Yeah, no, that's close. What I found weird was that they're like, we're going to make the blonde dude who keeps trying to have sex with the English girl the hero of the movie to a certain extent, because he runs off, climbs the gate.
He climbs the gate.
At one point, he goes to
the gate.
No shit. At one point in this movie, he climbs the gate. He fucking runs off with a wound on his shoulder that he got from the gate.
Yeah.
A bleeding wound. He runs into the police department and goes, there's been a murder, and he's got a bleeding wound on his shoulder, and they're like, get the fuck out of here.
Right, in
You
typical
know,
horror movie fashion.
you in this fraternity, get the fuck out of here. Fuck
You're just
you.
playing a prank on
And
them.
so he goes, they're like, we're going to put you in jail right now. And of course, he's got to help his friends. So he goes, all right, and he leaves. And then as he's walking down the hall, he's like, oh, what's this open room full of all your guns? Well, I'll just take a shotgun. Thanks. And then he leaves. And it's just
Yep.
like, what the fuck am I watching?
We're in total slasher universe rules.
It's,
Yeah.
it's not even slasher universe. It's Dum Dum universe. Like there's
Well, that's
no
kind of the same thing
there's
sometimes.
just the internal logic of the film is just completely fucked.
Mhm.
And I guess whatever. It's supposed to be a horror movie. This movie, they shot this movie for $1.4 million.
Yeah, it's only got a couple locations.
It's got
They basically moved into that castle, and for the most part,
that castle in California, and then they shot interiors in some apartment, some big ass apartment or some place like that. And I think they went to Canada for a couple things too.
Mm.
I could be wrong about that, but yeah, and they shot over 3 months in '81 from
Wow.
October through October, November, December. I think they said.
Crazy. They had to keep coming back.
Yeah, well, I think there was an actor that was quoted as saying they served Thanksgiving dinner on a double-decker bus to them
Oh,
because they had
okay.
to work on Thanksgiving. So it's there's a lot of stretching of scenes in this movie in order to fill time where the actors are just you'll see the actor take that dramatic pause and then turn
That's
forever.
total drive-in movie where it's just filling the time. It's just make-out movie.
It's make-out movie.
You are not going to miss the plot.
Yeah, no, that's
Just
true.
20 minutes in
That's
the back.
true.
Yeah, it's almost like it's designed for that.
I had weird Drag Me to Hell vibes in this movie where I felt like there was an echo of, and I don't know why that is. I can't place my finger on it.
It feels like Justin Long should have been in this movie.
Yes, fuck. Yes. For some
They
reason.
remade it,
Yeah.
and the Ryan Reynolds to be the Van Patten. But Justin Long would be the guy telling the spooky story as they go.
Right.
The main guy who's playing the prank on him, right? Yeah.
I have a note here that says, please tell me that this movie has 10 minutes of credits. I was just, because, you've given me a couple of surprises where the credits run right up to like the last 90 seconds of the film. And I'm like, I was ready for this movie to be over 4 minutes ago.
Freeze frame. It's way too long. And you get that, that triumphant walking away freeze frame.
Oh God, yeah, I forgot about that.
Entire events of the evening on her face, but I also like when the monster gets killed and he plays it very sympathetic. Oh, I'm being impaled. You could tell that was that stuntman's big moment. I like that. Obviously it's all these public domain costumes, right? To just show up and all this shit, but that makes it so weird. It's not like the other movies of its time because it has.
It was a very weird, like you could tell the last
is strange too.
The last brother that died on the getting impaled, he wanted to look like Nosferatu.
Yeah,
but he couldn't. And the other one kind of wanted to look like a mixture of Frankenstein and Dr. Jekyll to me.
Yeah.
It just didn't. And apparently, from what I read on Wikipedia, those were two German brothers who didn't speak English.
Oh my God, I didn't even know any of this.
And one of them died months after filming.
Jeez.
Yeah. The two lead actors in this film were gifted a ranch by a guy who died, and he claimed that they were friends. And the two actors were like, "We don't know this guy." But he was a huge fan of the film, and so he left them land.
Wow.
It's fucking weird. Yeah.
That's crazy. I didn't see any Hell Night merch at the convention, so I should get on the lookout.
Yeah, you totally should. That makes sense.
The candles. How many fucking candles? And
So
who is
many,
lighting
dude.
all the candles?
Yeah, no shit. When they first walk, that's a great point, because when they first walk into the first set, candles are lit. It's like, who the fuck has been in here lighting candles this entire time?
Who is tending all these candles?
Mm-hmm. I did like the fact that early on, they were debunking the frat myth. Like, look, it's a speaker. look at the control box. I thought that was kind of cool, but then they didn't twist it enough.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta fucking twist it more. Like, you kill the girlfriend of one of the two frat guys. The one he's like, what a twat, we should have left her behind, because she runs off to do something and gets killed. But they don't even fucking acknowledge her absence for most of the movie, and then suddenly it's like, where is she? It's like, dude, Jesus, come on.
I like when the Van Patten comes back and he's like, I killed him. And then the hand comes out and pulls him,
grabs him. Yeah, it's classic.
And then my favorite shot where the shotgun comes out and spins, and then the overly dramatic close-up face turning to look at the shotgun.
That's so good.
This is a comedy. This is a fucking comedy.
My favorite is the classic line repeat of the 80s where he goes, I don't know. That's just how many movies when we were kids did that?
This isn't funny anymore, guys. I mean, it contains all of that type of shit. And another movie before that stuff was cliche, which just makes it even funnier because they were very earnest about it. You can tell. One of the producers was Irwin Yablans, he was a producer on Halloween, so he's like one person's ripping himself off. He also made Blazer Blast, so there you go.
So one of the things that I noticed was that when she finally gets to the gate, Seth's already come back, right? Like, he's brought the car back, he's got the shotgun, he's gone through the gate.
Yeah.
And then when she gets back to the gate's locked. Did he climb it again with the fucking shotgun? Because I don't remember seeing that.
It almost feels like things are out of order.
It does. It's anyway, but hey, the car won't start, but that's okay because she's a mechanic, and she just pops the hood and drum, and we're off and right, because that's how you fix a car as a mechanic. You just pop the hood and drum, you're off and racing. And I fucking hate this movie. I didn't like it.
What other slasher movie from the early 80s do they pop the hood and actually, hot wire the car? They usually scream and then they have to get out of the car and run off again, but Linda Blair knows how to start the car. So
true, because we set up that she's a mechanic beforehand, which makes her, and look.
Usually she's not the person in distress unless it's a women in prison movie, right? She never did a whole lot of other slashers. She's usually the one kicking ass, like Savage Streets or something.
Right. And I get that it's a nice turn on the whole.
She was all of 20 at the time. This film was
virgin girl being chased shit is that you try to put power in her hands, which I like. I like that turn. Sydney from Scream is probably one of my favorite, sort of girl in danger characters from horror because she fights back constantly, dude. I love the one where they're like, watch out, they jump back up and she just shoots him in the head. That's fucking great.
And that happens in this one. Wait, this is the moment where the monster will jump back up for one last scare, then he jumps out of the water.
Yep, exactly.
And for some reason, he feels compelled to then pull him out of the water. I didn't know what was going on there.
I didn't know what was going on there either. That was weird.
Like, am I watching an outtake?
But I just thought that this felt more kind of taped on than ingrained, right? Like, if you're gonna make a badass girl, then make a badass girl. Yeah. Don't make a girl that's, laying in bed, mooning eyes at a guy and talking about like the bourgeois class versus capitalism or whatever the fuck she was talking about. Like, why are we listening to her talking about this right now? Like, you're rich and I'm poor, and that means this.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Come on.
That stuff is
what is this doing in the middle of my horror movie? Oh, that's right. It's designed to make people so numb that the guy and the girl go, you want to hop in the back seat?
Yeah, or you go to the snack bar. That's the time to go to the bathroom. The plot's been set up, so nothing's going to happen for 40 minutes.
Yeah.
It's rhubarb. This is the type of movie that at the drive-in, it would be like the third movie. It's
definitely
really meant for more than that. And yet, pretty good cast. Most of these movies don't have this good of a cast that are interesting of a cast. You have Linda Blair, you have the Van Patten, the other dude is in Friday the 13th, the final chapter. So, and then I saw the casting director was Johanna Ray, who's done many, many movies, and I was like, well, that makes sense. The movie's got an interesting look to it. It got a good color palette. It's lit kind of moody. I'll give it that.
it's lit like a classic. It's lit like a classic 60s or
Yeah,
50s
right.
horror movie.
Like they're trying to make a movie
In color.
right? And they didn't
And
know
then
how to do a slasher, right?
I read no. Well, here's what I read. I read the director said, "I'm tired of slasher movies where they're all in street clothes,
Mm.
and I want to come up with a concept that allows me to put her in something hot or good looking, something that's dressed right, that makes her that compliments her." And they came up with this idea of a costume party. That Hell Night is a costume party, and then they could put everybody in whatever they wanted to put them in,
Yeah.
which meant they could put her in this choker with the cameo, and kind of put her in the bustier that jacks up the boobs, and then he's in the outfit, you know what I mean? And she's and the other one, the English girl's in the bustier, like whatever the hell
So the
lingerie
real
above.
reason the movie was made.
Yeah, well, but also because, and I agree with what he was saying. You don't see characters in horror movies dressed up much like this stuff. There's not
That's
a
true.
well, at least
Sets
maybe
it apart at that time
you
period.
could argue now that you do, but back in '81 you definitely didn't. Everybody was in street clothes, running, screaming for their lives. So I get that part of it. It's just it, and I'd say that worked. It's just it was a bad movie on the
It's
other
bad
points.
movie, yeah. Aesthetically pleasing in a way.
Yeah,
This
it looked okay. I mean, yeah, I'd agree with you. It looked okay. She's definitely at that point in her life. She's really kind of grown into her like face. Like because she was a little girl with a grown up's face, and so she's kind of grown up into her grown up face. And she looks real good. The outfits look good on her. Everybody looks good. I don't want to watch another fucking Van Patten movie for a while, dude. Please don't give
I
me
don't
another
think
Van
I
Patten
know
movie
of
for a while.
any others.
Good,
Good,
because I don't
well,
want to.
Class of '84 was because of the
I don't
Teenage
like
Head.
it. I know it was, but I don't want to watch any more Van Patten movies. But other than that,
This was an early movie for Chuck
those
Russell.
parts are successful. Yeah.
And Chuck Russell went on to make Elm Street 3 and the Blob remake and a bunch of other things too. I think he mostly made action movies after, but this is one of his early. So
Well, it made 2.6 or 2.9 million, so it made double what they put into it. So it's a success.
Mm-hmm.
They put 1.4 into it is what I read. So 1 million was the original budget, then they had to go 400,000 over to do shots and things that they were having trouble with. But
oh yeah, and it's prime for that year when all the Friday the 13th ripoffs and shit were coming out. So of course this was going to make money, and they never made a part 2. They just stopped, and it's good. I applaud them for not trying to turn this into a franchise.
And like our next movie, which is has been set up for literally 199 sequels, which I laughed at so fucking hard I could not stop laughing. When I heard that line, I just was like, oh my, really? Holy crap, dude!
Oh, I'm gonna give Hell Night a 2.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna give it a 1.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah, no, I'm not. No,
I'm not making any pretense that that's a good movie or anything. I just think it's kind of a fun, bland way to end Halloween, where you no longer have to pay attention to what's on the TV set, but you want a horror movie that's mildly non-offensive. It's almost PG-13 by today's standards.
It's very close. Yeah. I would say I am so numb from watching so many horror movies that maybe I'm having a gut reaction that maybe it should be 1.5, but I can't give it 2 stars because it just fails on so many levels beyond what we talked about. And it just invoked a hatred in me, like where I was just like, I fucking hate this movie.
Wow.
So yeah, it really didn't. I don't know why. Like, I don't know if it was, how I've talked about in the past how, movies have a cocaine type feeling to me, and this type of feeling. This one had it like it was flipping me off, and all I wanted to do was go, yeah, fuck you too, right back at it. So
yeah, it's the Road Games conundrum.
I will never watch it again, ever.
And just like Road Games has 40 minutes where nothing happens before Act 3 kicks in.
This fucking thing.
Let
me just drag these scenes out. You gotta drag these scenes out.
Much like Road Games, it was Australian, and the director of the Pope's Exorcist is Australian.
Yes, he is.
Now we're flowing and segueing into.
He is definitely Australian for sure.
That is movie shot in Ireland. by
Uh-huh.
an
Shot in
Australian.
Ireland.
So the
Yep.
Pope's Exorcist is
Which
a
is
buddy
supposed to
cop.
be. It's also supposed to be listed in Spain. So I mean the actual the actual location of the movie for most of it is either Italy or Spain, but it's shot in Ireland.
Yeah,
So
shot in Ireland. Yeah.
yeah, that'll give you everything you need to know.
So the Pope's Exorcist is a buddy cop comedy from 2023. I mean, in a way, it kind of turns into one by the end of it, right?
Well, kind of like a weird.
And now we're
buddy-
suddenly 007 Daniel Craig era, and I knew we were there when that woman's head gets smashed on the sink, and I thought, wait a minute, only James Bond characters can handle that. This is set in the world of James Bond, I think. What really is the Pope's Exorcist?
So the Pope's Exorcist in 1987, Gabriel Amorth, the Vatican's leading exorcist, investigates the demonic possession of an American boy in Spain and discovers a secret the Vatican has tried to keep buried for centuries.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, Russell Crowe, chubby Russell Crowe, which is, I think, quickly becoming my favorite Russell Crowe.
Yeah, I think he's going to be the new Donald Pleasance at this rate.
I really do, and I'm here for it, man. Like, I'm so like, and I hate to use youth terminology, but I'm ready to go. I want to see him play those type of roles. This is a 2-time Oscar winner who really can, if he wants to, act his fucking ass off, and he leans into the B movie aspect of this shit. So I mean, he's just almost winking at the camera at certain points, going, "Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's great." And I'm just sitting there watching it, going, "Fuck yes," to a certain extent. There's a superhero introduction. I mean, we have a quick, like, that slow-mo kind of push in with the camera up to him.
Oh yeah, it's a blender
right
of
from
every
the beginning.
Exorcist movie you've ever seen. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Including the new Evil Dead remake elements, heavy on Prince of Darkness and The Seventh Sign. Hey, those are all from 1987 as well, which is kind of weird. I did think it was an odd follow-up to Master and Commander, though. Is this where those books go? Well, he said the books were good. So.
They are. They really heat up after a while. And you're right. He does say in the movie the books are good.
I was like, wow.
So, anyways, this is a real guy.
It's a real person, although fictitious in the credits. It says the stories. Yeah.
Fictitious in the credits as far as the stories go, but this guy is a real guy. He worked for the Catholic Church. He claims he was their exorcist. He wrote books about it. And in 1987, basically, he goes to an exorcist and he exorcises these people at a house and casts this guy's demon into a pig who then they shoot it.
That might be the best part of the movie, actually.
It's fucking great. It's really well done. It's because I am Legion, all that shit, which is straight from the Bible. A lot of fun to watch.
And then I'm thinking, this is a comedy. Okay, it's like Repossessed.
Repossessed. Oh my god. Okay. So so they so then he gets called to the floor because there are people within the Catholic Church who don't believe that the devil is still running around, and they think he's sort of grandstanding and that type of shit.
Yeah, he's Maverick from Top Gun, right? He's
Maverick from Top Gun.
I'm playing by my own rules.
He's Maverick from Top Gun. It's perfect because what does he say during that little inquisition? He says, "My diocese is in Rome. I was assigned by my bishop, and my bishop is the motherfucking Pope. If you have trouble with me, take it up with my fucking boss." And he just kind of nips out with the fingers in the air. He takes a little shot of his coffee, puts his fucking sunglasses on, hops on his little scooter, and he takes off across fucking Italy. It's so dope, dude. You're right. It's so 007 of the Vatican. Like fucking so much. Like all he needs. Where is Q to give him his holy weapons?
Well, that's in the next one. Yeah, that underground era where because you can tell Q was just off to the side there, but
they John Wick the fuck out of it and then put a little 007 and then throw a little exorcism demon shit on it with some Catholicism, and you got fucking anyway. So.
Well, the Pope is played by Franco Nero, who's Django.
Who's Django. Fuck yeah. And so I'm glad you spotted that. So
That was cool.
So anyway, so they cut to an American family who has apparently owned this cursed abbey in their family for thousands of years, and the fathers did as you do. You marry into a family whose husband has owned a cursed abbey, and he dies, and you and your children
Catch a
decide
release all over again.
yeah, right. No shit. Only with kids. So so here's this woman with a daughter who's 15 and a son who's 7 or 8, right, 10 maybe, and they decide to go to the ancestral lands and restore the abbey and live there.
And
right?
these kids are from now. These kids are not from 1987. These kids are from now.
These kids
Their
are from now.
hairstyles, everything are to 2020s.
Totally.
And I was like, why is this set in 87? You know, I'm having Cocaine Bear flashbacks. But then when you realize it's based on real person, so I'm like, oh, that's why they're setting it at that time. And so then I kind of forgave it, you know.
So they show up and they take over the abbey and they start living there, and immediately the kid is possessed by a demon, right? And
because he was listening to too much violent films.
He was, and I gotta say,
More song that did it, just like in Grosse Pointe Blank, out of place, Faith No More song.
There are so many fucking good needle drops in this fucking movie, though. Because it starts with Psychedelic Furs with Gone Daddy Gone, which is very appropriate. We get some Faith No More in there. It's just like there's some very good needle drops, but they stop. Unfortunately, it doesn't carry through the rest of the movie. But
I definitely just wanted to have Walkman with the little foam head pieces, you know.
Well, it works really well for the first act to kind of set up the tone and the theme, in my opinion. Crow in the Habit, Russell Crowe in the Habit's hilarious with the sunglasses on, dude. I have to wonder if the possessed kid will be on the con circuit next couple of years, you know, trying to sign some autographs.
Not be surprised.
That'll be hilarious. Get to meet him.
You notice that kid, the devil was British, wasn't it? Or the devil had like a British accent, or maybe it was an Australian accent.
Maybe. They were in Australia.
Upon closer inspection, did you notice that the devil was actually played by Sauron from Lord of the Rings? Because I saw that eye. That's who that was. This is a Lord of the Rings movie.
Well, I mean, Sauron needs fucking work.
I'm telling you, it was good to see him getting some
He's got to keep up his SAG, credentials. Yeah, I mean, look, the We Care a Lot needle drop where he's zipping around Italy on his scooter. I mean, come
Faith
on.
No More, just the name of the band alone.
That's can't be movie shit at its finest. Like, and and when I thought about, like, these are, look, Hell Night and Post Exorcist are both B movies. Now, I agree that the level of production value is very far apart.
Oh yeah.
But the scripts,
the trophies are the same.
The scripts are doing two different things. Like you're getting the goofy, weird, like you would never expect a priest to be zipping around on his meat scooter with his fucking sunglasses on in any exorcism movie. And he's very kind of cheeky, but also he's got a nice physical, intimidating presence in the film. To where it just works. They do all these other things that make the B movie for me work a lot more. I like the fact that they acknowledge that the movie goes, 98% of all this crazy ass, exorcism shit is basically just people with mental illness. And then it's like, well, what's a 2%? Well, maybe it's evil. It's maybe. But he's a rebel priest, Mitchell.
Yeah, you can't criticize a movie that's from the genre that's created by The Exorcist, where everybody's just gonna redo the same things over and over because that's what people want from these. That's why people watch crazy shark movies.
Sure.
And the mid '70s was a weird time for starting all this shit. And so the exorcism movies have never been a big thing for me, even though I like the weird versions like Evil Dead, where it feels like they're possessing people for a reason. They're trying to take over the world. But in these, it's always, you're in a bed. Why are you always in a bed? And I thought this time, wouldn't it be scarier if they didn't have the voice box? If they were just talking in their voice, saying all that shit? I don't know. Maybe that's the twist we haven't seen yet.
Yeah. Well,
But
One
this
of the
was
other
still really well put together. If you like these type of movies, you're gonna like this one.
I think so. I really think so. I think it paces well. It's creepy enough.
It's got a
They
little
have it.
fun
They
to
have
it
it.
too, you
They
know.
have it. Yeah, it's a little fun. They have a decent backstory and a why, and it kind of builds. It builds well. They disturb the well. That's the gateway to hell, which immediately reminds me of Amityville 2. I think it is.
Or like The Gate, or
No, it's an Amityville movie where it's like find the well. It's the gateway to hell, and they have this well
oh,
in
that makes sense.
their house, and that's the whole. I think it's Amityville 2 or 3.
Yeah, there's a lot of conglomerate going on to make this.
I like the idea that the movie kind of weirdly posits, which is that different generations perceive evil and the devil differently, right? Like, and I find that a weird. I mean, I don't want to talk about it on this podcast. I don't want to talk about religion, but I just like the idea, this weird kind of the posit that like, oh, older generations see the devil this way and believe more this. Newer generations think maybe it's more metaphysical, or maybe it's this or that. And then, of course, in the movie, when they get hit with it, it's like, oh shit.
Mm-hmm. At least there was a story of like what it was trying to do by possessing, because so many times it's just, I'm possessed. Isn't that scary enough? And well, I guess if I was raised Catholic, I probably would be. But since I don't have the context, it's never really sat for me. I was always like, oh, it's Linda Blair, you know.
Right. No, that's a good call.
It's Hell Night. That's what I think of, you know. But I like the fact that it's like, oh, okay, it's trying to do this. It's almost like a D&D module, but set through Catholicism, and then it turns into James Bond at the end of it. And I'm like,
yeah, he goes to meet the Pope, Franco Nero, and the Pope's like personally handing out a mission, like, oh, you back, like, and that's such an NPC, like, go back to visit the NPC, and he'll give you your next mission.
It's like that's what was going on this whole time. Okay, then that makes a little more sense as to why it seems so like by the numbers in the beginning, and also because once again with international movies, sometimes like remember back in the day they would say Canada looked like it was 20 years behind America because we always have like the tech first or whatever. I don't know.
Sure.
I guess in Ireland we're about in the aughts, because this totally felt like one of those aughts horror films in a way.
Well, I mean, it's supposed to be in the 80s.
Emily Rose or whatever that was, that courtship of Emily Rose. That's a different movie. That courtroom drama about the exorcism of Emily Rose. That was, and I was like, it felt like one of those to me. I'm like, oh, so now we're getting not only Exorcist and Evil Dead and all those 80s things, but now we're getting the movies from the aughts being reflected into a movie from the 20s. And it reminded me like of Violent Night, where if the main actor, David Harbour, hadn't completely committed to being Santa, none of this works. And so Russell Crowe completely commits to being the priest, and so this works because of it.
Right.
It's kind of like the same type of movie in that way.
And that's really, to me, the essence of a good actor. Like, there are no bad parts. There are just good actors.
That's what you're going to do with it.
And Crowe went, dude, this is, again, I'll say it again. I think he's got 2 fucking Oscars under his belt. 2 best actors. I could be wrong about that. I know he's got at least one. My apologies. He's got 1, but he's nominated 3 times and he's won once for best actor.
What did he win for?
He won for Gladiator.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
He was nominated for The Insider and for A Beautiful Mind.
Okay. Well,
I thought he won
one of those movies.
No, I thought he'd won for A Beautiful Mind too, but I was wrong. But anyway, so I mean, this is a guy who was an actor in 3 noms who's like, I'll take this fucking B-level ass horror movie. This will be fun.
Yeah, apparently,
and
I guarantee sequel.
Yeah, and I guarantee you, that you saw that ending where the guy's like, well, there's 199 other spots all over the earth where this is happening. It's like you can do. They basically are just like, we're going to do sequels like John Wick until we puke.
And I thought they already had made the sequel. So you mean to tell me that the movie called The Exorcism is not a sequel?
No, but who does it star?
Russell Crowe as a priest. He came out next year. I thought they'd already made part 2, and I'm like, what a weird name for part 2.
I know, I
We
couldn't
go from
believe
the
it.
Pope's Exorcist to the Exorcist. No, these movies are not related.
No, not
That's
even
the weirdest
close.
part of it all.
And The Exorcism has David Hyde Pierce in it, which is weird. He'll join a horror movie, but he won't go into the new season of Frasier. How strange.
Well, maybe
Anyway,
wrong.
um,
You also want to do things you haven't done before, too. This had very Prince of Darkness vibes, I think I mentioned before. You get that John Carpenter feeling, and that's the where Donald Pleasance is a priest, which made me think the whole Russell Crowe can be the new Donald Pleasance. He can be in every genre movie left and right. You can make him Dr. Loomis when you reboot Halloween again, inevitably.
I have to say I liked the art direction and production of the movie. I thought it looked good. I thought it moved well. The director did a great job. I had absolutely no problems with how it looked. I get it. The kids are kind of now. It's kind of
yeah, they are not
it's supposed to be 87, but it's kind of more now. But at the same time, other than that, it really worked. I really liked the film as far as those aspects goes, because it didn't detract from anything. I'm not sitting here going, "Oh, fuck, this looks like shit."
So both movies kind of had the haunted castle motif to them in a way, the haunted.
Yeah, but one did it way better than the other.
So they were both haunted house movies in a weird sort of way. So going back to Hell Night briefly, was it ever fully explained that they were just projector ghosts, or were there actual ghosts in there too, maybe, that we don't know about?
Well, and that was the one thing, because he proves the fact that the door opens and locks on a switch, but he doesn't prove how the ghost.
Yeah,
I had the same question. That's
I don't
a good
think
point.
they ever explain it.
No, they didn't.
And I had another thought about that movie too. Is back in the 80s, you'd have a cable, and you couldn't have every pay channel, couldn't afford it, but there was, you'd watch them scramble, right? And you would just listen to the movie, and you'd get a little image of the movie every couple seconds where it would pause. And I remember listening to the beginning of Hell Night on a scrambled signal back around 82. I only made it through that little opening part, and you obviously get bored, but that's a memory of this. And also, the movie channel did a all-night horror marathon back in the 80s, and Hell Night was maybe about the third or fourth movie, and I think the fifth or sixth movie was like the Boogans, but I was long passed out on the couch by then. But those are my weird nostalgic memories of Hell Night. I also think it was shown occasionally on USA and Channel 11 on Saturday afternoons in the syndicated package.
I want to say I probably saw it on USA at some point when I was a kid.
Sitting alongside Terror Train or some shit like that. But anyway, back to the Pope's Exorcist.
Yeah, back to the Pope's Exorcist. I love the fact that the young priest basically starts to choke an 8-year-old or a 10-year-old out, which I think is hilarious.
Hey, that's a kid.
I love the fact that then the Father Amorth uses a moped to move a giant stone. He just ties a rope to it and uses his moped is can do anything.
Extra powers.
It's like Kit in an Italian moped.
It's like Battle Cat.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of like a module. It's +5.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a +5 holy moped.
Mm-hmm. Only he can drive it.
Oh my God, she's so.
It's a cleric adventure, is what it is, right? It's just a.
There you go. Yeah, it's cleric. Yeah. Just got to turn a bunch of undead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this poor woman has inherited a well full of persecuted people in her backyard, and nobody disclosed that to her on any realty forms or any sort of like. They were just like, "Here you go.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck." And once again they found the well, the gateway to hell. The tombs of the persecuted. I'm sure that's not a source of evil at all, right? Just all these dead people just lining this well, and that goes down into catacombs. Sure, it's fine. There's nothing ominous at all while you're dealing with a child who's been possessed by apparently the devil.
You only moved the headstones. Poltergeist all over again.
It's just Crow just at every turn leans the fuck into this. I can't keep stressing it enough how I never ever once saw on his face that he didn't believe it
Mm-hmm.
or that he wasn't right in the moment being Father Amorth trying to save all this family from the devil again.
Mm-hmm.
I really did like the appearance of suddenly the Holy Mother. The iconographies. I love that iconography, anyways. But she appears and then turns into the devil and tricks him and shit. I thought that was really kind of like if you're a Catholic, you're probably like, oh my God, I loved that. I thought they did the makeup on Crow really well when he was possessed. He looked really creepy.
Mm-hmm.
That when they make that girl do the spider walk.
Yeah,
Remember
that's
that when
why I
she
was
gets
like,
possessed?
oh man, do we have to? And it's like,
That's-
yes, you're making one of these movies.
Yeah,
you have to have that. It's like,
that's where I was like, man,
it's like Hell Night. You have to say, this isn't funny anymore, you guys.
Yeah, current classic trope, right? Gotta break her back, turn her over into that weird thing, and have her scuttle around like an insect.
And if I make one false turn, these candles are hitting these curtains, and this place is done.
Yup.
There are a billion freaking candles lit in this castle. Were there a lot of candles in the Pope's Exorcist? Not nearly as many in Hell Night.
Not nearly as many as Hell Night, no.
I don't think I've ever seen as many candles in a movie as that.
I thought the effects were effective, but they weren't mind blowing. I mean, I don't think they were really meant to be, but they were effective. What they tried to do worked. The intentionality was there.
Yeah.
And I thought it.
Oh, go ahead.
No, it didn't get mired in being too gory or trying to do something that it wasn't. It was trying to scare you with, like, if you have a religion and if you're a Christian, this is probably going to be, if you don't believe it, the imagery may scare you, but the impact behind it won't, right?
Yeah, it didn't give me anything that I haven't already seen in the genre, except turning it into James Bond action universe.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the difference here. When you go, oh, he's like a spy, but for the Lord. I kick ass for the Lord, like in Dead Alive, right?
Yes, yeah. So I really wish that his moped had machine guns on it, or like not machine guns even, but just like holy water squirters, and then like some demons tried to jump at him in the road, and he's like, it'd be pretty awesome, right? Pew pew.
So I haven't seen the other two movies that this director made that he's known for. I've seen the covers of them, though.
Yep. I haven't either.
Seen the others? The other movies?
No, I haven't.
Not the others.
Anything else he's
Nicole
ever made.
Kidman, but another haunted house movie, strangely.
No, sir, have not.
Let's get out of here, Scooby.
The fact that Russell Crowe just did another movie called The Exorcism, though, is like
even that wild.
That's pretty great.
Well, when you're on a roll.
Mm-hmm.
Because people are like, which one do I watch first?
Yeah, I haven't watched Son of a Gun. I haven't watched Overlord. I haven't watched either one of those.
Yeah, I know of them, right? Like I've heard of the movies, but
yep. Let me check my notes. I don't think I have anything else.
I was like,
see thee beneath God, Marty. That was my last note.
I mean, I just is that kid listening to The Cult 1987? Like, he is in this movie, right? He is in this universe.
Everybody listened to The Cult in 1987.
Right.
Well, I mean, if you listened to it, if you were cool, man.
87, Serpent in the Rainbow. I think we were in all sorts of weird shit. So that's a good year to put that in.
Mm-hmm.
And wasn't Cocaine Bear shot in Ireland as well, pretending to be the 80s? So
Dude, I have no fucking
So
idea.
once again, proving that it takes about 35 years to completely forget what a decade really felt like. But this is if you like these movies, if you like a good action movie, if you like a good exorcism movie,
if
you like a good Russell Crowe movie, you're probably going to like this.
if you like a good exorcism movie that isn't too, if you like a horror movie that isn't too scary,
Yeah.
right? Like it's scary. It's got some scary imagery, but it's not so scary. It's more jump scary.
Not a whole lot of jump scares, right?
Not a whole lot, but also that was the other thing about Hell Night is like those jump scares were so fucking bad. It was just awful.
Yeah, because you hadn't perfected the jump scare yet.
It was no, there was nothing scary about Hell Night. Anyways, back to
be
back to
heard
the
on
other
a
one.
little drive-in speaker or one speaker.
You could tell where that shit was coming from a mile away. But
Listen to it out of your phone for the ultimate effect. But what I liked about Pope's Exorcist sound design is I guess they didn't have enough of a budget to get the bass to be like those movies I don't like, so it didn't go into the it was just ominous bass enough to be kind of moody and how the hell it should be. So I give them a kudos for that.
So while Russell Crowe was doing research on Father Gabriel, he discovered that Father Gabriel's personal favorite movie is The Exorcist, and that Father Gabriel was good friends with William Friedkin, who made The Exorcist, and William Friedkin made a movie called The Devil and Father Amorth in 2017, about 7 years ago.
Wow.
And it's like the second to last film Friedkin did before he died. So I actually might watch that, to be honest with you.
I remember seeing William Peter Blatty, the writer of the novel The Exorcist, right? On the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, and then they were like, we're going to play the real audio tape of the kid who was possessed, and they play this thing, and wow, that's some good P.T. Barnum for you, man. I had never seen such snake oil, and it's like, you can even tell the both of them were kind of like, we know this is utter showmanship, but this is what we do. And then,
So it was supposed to, they were hoping that it would open between 4 and 10 million. And they were, for the opening weekend, they were like, yeah, between 4 and 10 million would be great. 9.2 million is what it did.
Really well.
Yeah. And I think they spent, they spent 18 million on it, and it did 76 million worldwide. So that's a pretty damn successful film for Russell. And I would expect that probably the second one will have a little bit more money behind it, maybe probably 25, 30 million. Russell get paid a little bit more, and it'll probably be a little bit, more. I don't know. They figured out some sort of formula with it, like I said, with John Wick, or like you said with 007, where it's like you gotta. We've gotten into regarding John Wick. I think we've gotten into. Somehow we haven't done it with 007, but this diminishing returns.
Yeah.
Where the movies get worse and worse as they go, and not so much with 007.
Yeah,
I mean, there's been some bad ones.
Yeah, I wish they had introduced that element earlier in the movie. And then instead of revealing it towards the end as the setup like a Marvel movie stinger almost.
Yeah, totally.
And it even had those end credits that I complain about where it's like, it's going to feel so of its time, like even 5 or 6 years from now.
Got 199 other places the devil is on the earth, man, and we know all about him. So we're going to have to make some movies about it, dude. I just hope that he's on his moped everywhere that he goes.
Right.
That's all I hope. Because Fat Russell with his hat and his glasses on his moped is fucking awesome. I love it. Meet.
Oh, that's why he would make that sound. Okay, I get it now.
So what do you give it? What do you give it?
I mean, look, if I like these type of movies, my rating would be a lot higher. But I come into these, so it's a 1.5, leaning to a 2.
Really?
Yeah, it's fine. It's the same thing over and over.
What did you give Hell Night?
I give that a 2 because it's like that.
God, come on!
I knew I was going to be controversial, and I was like, no, I have to leave it like this because it'll be a better episode if I do this. But no, I'm not going to watch this again.
I would watch this again easily.
It's not bad. If I like these movies, I'd give it 3.5, maybe.
I would watch this if you put Hell Night and Pope's Exorcist in front of me and said you're stranded on a desert island. Which one would you like to have? Pope's Exorcist.
Oh, I'm taking
Easily.
Hell Night. Yeah.
Ah, fuck. I over and over again. No.
I don't want to watch that over and over again to compare. Shit.
I don't want to watch Hell Night where some drive-in movie where they're dragging out scenes and another fucking bad Van Patten fucking performance. And,
yeah. See, that one makes me laugh more. So.
But it's a horror movie. It's not supposed to make you laugh.
I thought these were both comedies.
They're not comedies.
It totally turns into a buddy cop.
And that's where you get into the argument about failed intentionality, right? Where you're like, yeah, I laughed at it, but it was a horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think Pope's Exorcist pulls that off a bit better.
Yeah, they're supposed to be kind of satirical in parts, whereas Hell Night's funny because it's riffable.
Yeah, I think Pope's Exorcist, the riff tracks would tear that one a new one. And you know what? I think probably in the next 6 months we'll see a riff on it. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm gonna go. I waver between 2.5 to 3 stars.
Right.
But this is the second time I've seen it, and the second time that I've went, fuck, it's not too bad. It's not a full horror movie. I can't really truly call it an exorcism horror movie. I guess I can, but it's just not super scary compared to the other shit I've seen.
It just mixes it with other stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 3 stars.
All right.
In the hopes that I see another Russell Crowe fat priest beep beep on the moped movie, because I really enjoyed that shit. Yeah, I don't know why. Maybe later I'll be like, yeah, I was wrong. 2.5 or 2.
No, I think 3 is totally reasonable.
But,
like I said, if I liked the genre more, I'd be all about it. But I don't usually watch the Exorcist genre, and there's so
I don't either.
of them.
I don't either. There's so many of them I haven't seen. I haven't watched the whole.
Always willing to give it a shot, though.
The ones with the guy and the girl that are supposed to be true, The Conjuring or whatever the shit that is.
Yeah,
I haven't watched any of those. Yeah, it's not really a format that interests me, but again, it was Russell Crowe, an Oscar winner, on a moped in Italy, beep beep, and I saw a trailer for him. Was like, I gotta see this. And he again, I think what sells us
it's totally worth
into it. He leans into it. But and I would agree.
It's
if
fun.
You haven't seen Hell Night at least once, go watch it so that you can understand how bad it is.
You can zone out of Hell Night. You don't have to pause ever. You can walk in and out of the room. You can have conversations with people, and then with the movie, once your attention, it'll get loud, and then you'll watch 5 minutes of it, and you'll go back to doing what you were doing.
It's a sign of a terrible movie. What are you talking about?
Well, it's different type of movie. Pope's Exorcist, you're going to want to watch the whole thing. You're going to want to pay attention. But Hell Night, you can drift in and out. And not lose anything, right? You're going to get the same movie.
So if you and your girlfriend like scary movies and you like to make out at the same time like you're at the drive-in, put on Hell Night.
Yeah,
because there's a lot of opportunity for that shit, because it's it's a lot of movie that's not doing much, which is good for making out.
Right. Pretty much. There's a lot of those movies that are.
All right, so look, we're finally out of.
Oh yeah, we were originally going to do 4 weeks, but Cliff couldn't hack it.
Oh, it's my fault.
No, I'm kidding. And so I couldn't hack it either. So next week we're gonna do a making of episode. But the week after that, we're gonna give a palate cleanser, because instead of 4 weeks of horror
planned
movies,
to do a making episode, there was only 3 weeks of this horror shit, and you know it.
I know. So how about next time we watch something truly, truly frightening? No, I'm gonna give you. Okay. I'm gonna give you a palate cleanser. Next week, you're watching A Boy Named Charlie Brown from the '60s, the first Peanuts movie. We're gonna flush out all the.
Are you serious?
Yeah, we're gonna give you the Peanuts movie. I think it's mildly psychedelic. You tell me what you think.
You're gonna give me A Boy Named Charlie Brown.
Yeah, we had a boy and his dog. Now we're having the boy and Snoopy.
I'm just. Okay.
I wanted to give it a nice, a gargle.
A nice flush, huh? Just flush it all out. Just flush. That's what the fuck? Okay, sure. I just completely threw me on my. Really, 1960.
68, I think. It's the first feature-length Peanuts. And since it's still the 60s, the animation gets a little trippy in parts, I think. So let's see if this brings any nostalgia bells or childhood things. For you.
Okay. I
Or
mean,
you go,
I
you know
want
what?
to
I never
say
saw that one. So
I want to say I've probably seen most of those. I'm just very surprised
Right.
that's
yeah, we like to keep it in a blender here at Talking Pondo.
Okay.
And after all the movies we just watched, let's have a little lightness there.
I have waffled back and forth on some of this, and I'm still not sure what to give you as a movie. But I think I'm going to go with something more recent. To really, now that you've given me something from '68, you said.
I think that's from. Yeah.
I'm going to go with something much more recent that we both have, and I'm going to go with Axel F.
Oh, we're throwing into that now. Okay.
Which just came out. Now, once we have, it's on Netflix. Now, once we have,
banana in the tailpipe.
I mean, look, man. Anyway, it's just come out. I think by the time this releases, people will have had a chance to see it.
Oh,
so
yeah.
we could talk about it. But yeah, I'd like to do something a little bit more recent to bounce off that Charlie Brown.
Very interesting. We are starting a franchise with part 4.
Yeah.
Usually we, the few things we have dipped into, we've started at the beginning, but here we're going with the new one.
I think this is our first Eddie Murphy movie.
Oh, well, we did do Bowfinger.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Yeah, no, I mean,
they're adding up.
Snuck that one in. Well, anyway, Axel F. I haven't seen it.
Good.
I know it's out,
to watch
and I know we both have Netflix, and so we'll watch it.
Yeah, that shouldn't be scary or anything. So.
No, I need the opposite, and I think that's a good call. If you watch Charlie Brown and maybe Axel Foley, hopefully it's like the original Beverly Hills Cop or somewhere in there. It's good. Then you'll have a nice cleansing from all the.
Yeah. And yet, a perfect follow-up to the Pope's Exorcist, because he's a little Axel F in a way too, except he has a partner.
He's
like, I'm going to do it my way because I got to get things done.
I did expect the Pope to drag him in and be like, I'm going to remove your rosary, turn in your rosary and your cross, and get the fuck out of here. You're out of line.
It's running scared all over again.
Father Amorth. Yeah. But cool. That's worked for me. All right, Will.
Wow. So that was spooky season. Next week, we talked to somebody we made a movie with.
Hope you guys enjoyed spooky season.
Yeah, let us know. Should we do only one movie on 1 week next year? Make it easy on ourselves? Or do you guys like this format?
Do you enjoy the pain? Yeah, of us having to go through all these.
Because downloads are the numbers that speak. That's what we need. So.
And look, I mean, there's a link in our comments where you can support us, and money talks. So if you want the pain, then you pay for the pain and you get the pain. That's,
Yes.
That's show us where to sign.
And next week, I think it'll be not a whole lot of pain. I think it'll be pretty breezy. So
yeah, I think those are 2 pretty decent picks. Yeah. So, all right, till then,
right on.
Later, man.
Support the show on Buzzsprout for only $3 a month. Give us a 5-star review on Spotify or the platform of your choice. And be sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube page.